an NGO that we work together with. I'll try and see if I can.
You have to use the mouse.
Ah, okay. You see? It's now going more and more deforestation all over the world. And this is from the year, I think, beginning of 2000s. So even in the last 15 years, it's been going at a very high speed. And so mainly these areas, you can see a lot of deforestation. The Amazon, which is the biggest forest in the world. The second biggest is the Congo, where the Congo River goes. And the third biggest is here in Indonesia, with Borneo that we showed before. These are the three biggest tropical forests. You've still got, these are more moderate forests, but the difference is that a modern forest, not modern, moderate forests, they have less biodiversity and they keep less CO2. So that's why these are the most important forests. Another fact, deforestation trends were the clearest in the tropics, as over the years, and there's increasingly more forest lost. Why is this? Because a lot of forests in the north, in Europe, in Russia, in US, North America, they're all more and more protected, and there's more and more measures to keep them as they are. But that's why the pressure has been going to the tropical forest. Another fact, many iconic species are driven to near extinction, and with them many more other less known species. So, give you a few examples. You know this one? The orangutan lives in Borneo, and you've seen the deforestation going in Borneo. There's only two places in the world where he still lives, Borneo and northern Sumatra. He used to live all over Asia, but there is all extinct now in all the other countries. So now it's only Borneo, and the problem with for him is that the orangutan is an animal that lives solitary. He only comes together to mate, but the rest of his lives they live solitary, and so they're very it's very difficult for them to cope with the habitat shrinking. They really need the forest. Another one is the forest elephant in Western Africa. Also been going down enormously, but this has got mainly to do also with poaching. There's a lot of poaching going on right now because of the ivory. The price of the ivory has been going up enormously, and that's why there's a big driver for poaching elephants. Another one is the tiger in Asia mainly. There used to be more than 120,000 in the beginning of the 20th century. Now there's only some 4,000 left. It's really a big problem. And the panda, you all know, there's only 1,800 left in the wild now. So that's they're really close to extinction if we don't stop them. If we don't stop the degradation. Another thing which is very important about these animals, they all have an important function in the ecological system. For example, the forest elephant is an animal that eats a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of plants that grow naturally in the forest, but they also travel great distances. So what they do is they eat all these fruits, and the fruits, or the grains of the fruits, come out on the other side, somewhere else, in a nice bowl of poo. So this is an important function because the plants don't have other ways of dispersing seeds. And so to keep the forest healthy, to keep the biodiversity high, you need these species to spread the seeds. So scientists have already noticed biodiversity gone down in these areas because the elephants are not longer there. You see? So the ecological system also is threatened by the loss of these animals. Another example is the tiger. The tiger is a very important predator, and well, his function in the ecological systems in Asia is that he keeps the numbers of herbivores down. The problem with herbivores, like cows, they eat enormous amounts of plants, and they make the forest disappear, and they make them into gracelands. To keep a balance, you need predators to eat the herbivores. See? So they all have there's all these ecological systems. They have different functions, and if you take one species away, it will break down the function of the ecosystem. So that's another reason to make sure that we stop deforestation. Now, after all these doom and gloom messages, there's also some good news, because we can do something about it. As you can, as you have seen in the last slides, a lot of the problems have to do with our consumption. And that's why WWF and other organizations have created a number of labels, independent labels, that work around the different products that come out of these forests. First one is FSC. FSC stands for Forest Stewardship Council, and this is a label that is given to forests that are treated or that are, let's say, logged, but in a sustainable way. What does that mean? Very simply put, if you cut trees in a forest, but you only cut as much trees as the forest can grow again in the same period, then the forest size remains the same. Okay? So this is FSC, for example. I've been to an FSC forest this year myself in Cameroon, and we visited one big FSC concession, and what they do is they have in this big chunk of wood, it's divided into all different parcels, and in every parcel they only come every 30 years. So in 1 year they go and cut a number of trees, and then in the next year they go to another parcel, and they don't return to the same parcel but in 30 years time. And they only take one tree for every 10,000 trees. So in this way, if you, there's a lot more criteria than this, but simply put, it means don't cut more than you can get out of it, then can grow back every year. Then the second one is RSPO. RSPO means Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, and this is a label that is given to palm oil that has been planted in areas that have not been deforested, or deforested more than 30 years ago. So if you buy, for example, shampoo with this label on, then you know that the palm oil comes not from deforested areas. RTRS is the same for soy. So Roundtable on Responsible Soy comes from areas where soy has been planted in degraded areas, but not in areas where there used to be forest. Okay? So these are private sector initiatives, and they're now expanding. And you also have government initiatives, the New York Declaration on Forests, Amsterdam Declaration on Deforestation, These are all government initiatives to make sure that deforestation is stopped. And what can you do as an individual? You can buy products that are certified, so that has one of these labels. You can recycle and reuse, of course. This is, for example, for paper. You all know that it's better to use reused paper, or to try and limit the paper that we have. Pressure your favorite brands into buying deforestation-free products. Pressure your local politics to put deforestation on the agenda. And something which is important also, because there are some NGOs pleading for boycott of palm oil, for example. But the problem is that a boycott will not solve the problem. Why? Because palm oil is the most efficient way of getting vegetable oil. Let's say that we boycott palm oil, and everybody will start using, for example, coal seed. But I'm not sure if that's the right word in English. If we all would start using coal seed vegetable oil, then we would use 9 times the number of space to grow these coal seeds. And that's why we don't use boycotting, because we need this vegetable oil. We need it for cooking. We need it for all these products. And if we will stop using palm oil, then we will start using another seed, another type of oil that will use a lot more space. So it's not a solution. Okay? What is our mission for forests? What do we want to accomplish? Zero net deforestation and degradation. That means no more forest is being logged than what can grow again in the same year. And this is all over the globe. That's what we want to accomplish. And if we can do this, then we have effectively stopped deforestation. This will be a great win against climate change. And it's got also all the other advantages for all the people that depend on the forest, etc. Let me remind you, a forest is a carbon sink, but it also regulates the climate, because the forest keeps a lot of moisture and a lot of water in the forest. It also purifies our water, our drinking water, and this is also very important because there's a lot of water shortages coming in the rest of the world. The sweet water is only 0.01% of all the water in the world. Most of the water is salty water. We get a lot of medicines from forest also. We get a lot of fruits from the forest. So we really need the forest. Now let's become a little bit concrete. What is your mission for this assignment? We'd like you to help WWF create a community or a network of young people who become aware about the impact of the society's consumption patterns on forests, and that are willing to act on it. As you can imagine, and we've done research about this, many people don't realize about all these things. They don't realize that in their daily consumption patterns they have an effect on the forests of the world. And that's why we need to educate people and make them act and make them change their consumption patterns so that they will start doing something about this altogether. So what do we want the target group to think, feel and do? First of all, think. We want them to realize that they have an impact on deforestation and that it's very strong and that it's good to know that there are solutions. Okay? What do we want them to feel? We want them to feel that WWF is an active and relevant organization who needs their help in fighting for a better and healthier world where humans and other species can thrive within the planetary boundaries. I want to be part of the process of the solution and help WWF to make a better future for me. Otherwise, how will this planet look like in the future? Okay? So this is also an emotional message. You can use emotion, you know, in this. And of course, the best campaigns, as you probably already learned, the best marketing campaigns are based on people's emotions, because then you can grab people's attention and you can make them do something. A call to action, as we call it. What do we want them to do? Support WWF in making positive changes, be a more critical consumer, and share their experiences with their family and friends. Let WWF and the world know about your story, how it impacted your life, and WWF will give you feedback on your contribution. This might be through a website where people register. This might be through likes of a Facebook page. This might be by people sharing their experiences. For example, said, "Hey, I went to the supermarket today and I saw this product which has a RSPO label, and I took a picture of it and I posted it. You know, so I share what I did, and I tell my friends and family why I did it. You know, this just some ideas. You know." What are the anticipated results for this assignment? I've no idea if this is ambitious or not, but it would be nice to have a community like this of near 5,000 people. Okay? But a community can be all kinds of interaction. People that have shown some interaction, that they've been touched by the message and that they want to do something about it. Okay? And these people have shown that they have some kind of attachment